Ladies and gentlemen, Halo fans, we are back and it is time for the grand final of HCS ANZ Open number 1. I'm in Maniac. It's been my pleasure to bring you all the action all day, and joining me here on the cast as well, we've still got Bluey and Hoggy. Boys, we just saw a very intense and exciting finish to our losers bracket final. That 50-45 on the Slayer there. Divine Mind up against Nuke and Pave. We are going to be starting here with the upper bracket though. The lower bracket. So we saw this run through here. It was a very impressive run by Nuke and Pave. You can see there they made it all the way 2-0 Direwolves, which was that very shock elimination yesterday. 2-0 over the BBR, 2-1. It was a bit closer with that lower semis before finally going down to Divine Mind. Hoggy, you brought us some of the action there. You took us through the last series. Divine Mind, they must be feeling pretty good with that 2-0 over Nuke and Pave. Yeah,
they got to be feeling confident. They probably came up against a bigger challenge than they were maybe expecting, but who says that isn't a bad thing? That should be a good thing going into Nutribullet, because Nutribullet were a tough opponent for them in the winners bracket final, so having a challenge in the lower bracket final should ramp them up for this Nutribullet rematch.
Indeed, it should, and you can see their Nutribullet with the 2-0s all the way through for the entire competition. Yet to drop a map, and they may just finish the grand final that way as well. Your matchup here, we're just trolling you guys. It ain't no Divine Mind and Nuke and Pave. We're going to be seeing Divine Mind and Nutribullet, which we'll see in just a second as we go through the lineups. Nutribullet obviously is a team that's come through the entire way, and they will be up against Divine Mind. So Divine Mind here, Pip, Rated, Berserk, and Slays. We had the interview with Pip before. And Bluey, look, tell me a little bit about this guy, because it sounds like I'm about to promote you to the CEO of the Pip fan club.
Yeah, please do, Edmund. I really am vying for that position right now. This dude just performed and performed and performed all through those games. It was super stellar performance coming from him, and I can't say enough about him. Honestly, he should be really feeling good about how he's coming into this game against Nutribullet. You know, across such titans on the Nutribullet team, this man is really performing overall, and if he can continue to bring the A game that he just showed us into this game, I wouldn't be surprised if they actually manage to reset the bracket overall here and we go to another massive grand finals game.
Indeed, he's dropping 20 bombs today. A couple of years ago at the Sydney Finals 2018, only one spot off qualifying for Worlds. I know it was crushing for him then, but he's come a long way, and I'm expecting him to potentially make some waves throughout the roadmap this year. There's a few international opportunities that these guys will be vying for. I'm sure he'll be packing his bags for one of those international trips very, very soon. But of course, they will be up against Nutribullet, Seduce, Barcode, Madzi, and Frades. We've been introduced to these guys before. Hoggy, who are we looking out for from this squad?
Yeah, it's definitely Seduce. He's been on Team Immunity with Benno, Hef, and Voltage. He's been around since Halo 5 and playing a little bit before that with them as well. And he's sort of just risen as time has gone on. And now he's potentially, or basically just joined together this God squad at the moment, at least from what we've seen. And that's what people seem to be referring to them as. And Seduce has always been at the top. And it kind of reminds me a little bit of like the Frenetic Array back in the day. It was sort of like BBR, and then the squad joined together, and then BBR was no longer the number one. And that's sort of what we're happening here, but it's just not really as if they've got much of a challenge to sort of topple over.
If you guys didn't see what happened back a few years ago at the 2018 final, you should go back and check it out. Check out the VOD. Sydney 2018, we saw Seduce. You saw that little piece of trivia. Seduce left Immunity. It was a massive shock to leave the number one team, but of course they weren't the number one team for long, because Immunity and that renewed Mind Freak squad at the time dethroned them, got the number one spot. Of course, it was a grand final. Both of those went over and represented ANZ at the HCS World Championship. But very, very impressive stuff from Seduce. Keep an eye out for him, because he is bound to deliver the goodies in today's grand final. Going to be absolutely awesome. But I mean, all of the players, and I mean this with all sincerity, in these two squads, Bluey, are just dynamos in their own right.
Oh yeah, huge titans across the board. I wouldn't be surprised if going forward we see both these teams pretty much be the benchmark for the talent that we have in Australia. Again, if they continue performing, and as the game sort of goes on in its lifespan and they learn more and more, they get a hand for that equipment, all those spawns and stuff, just general tech, they are going to perform massively, and we could potentially see them on the world stage going to NA and competing in Raleigh.
I reckon it's almost likely for sure that we'll be seeing these guys. But look, let's see. We're getting ahead of ourselves. Cart before the horse. Let's get this grand final underway and see what maps these guys will be playing on. We are in the grand final, which means best of 5, ladies and gentlemen. CTF Aquarius is where we kick things off. We're going to be going over to Slayer on Bazaar and Oddball on Recharge. They will be the 3 maps we see at minimum. If it goes the distance, we've got Stronghold Streets and Slayer on Live Fire. Now, as a reminder for the format, it's a best of 5. If the lower bracket team, in this case Divine Mind, if they win this best of 5, we reset and we play another best of 5. But Hoggy, I'm a betting man, and something tells me that Nutribullet ain't going to let that happen.
Yeah, something tells me the same. And we've got CTF Aquarius first. And I think this is one of the most staple maps in the game at the moment. And it allows you to really push into the enemy base and you kind of know where they're going to spawn because there's only a couple different spawn points, but it allows them to sort of push in on one side, spawn them on the other, and trap them there. And I think this map may be a real clear indicator of how this series is going to go. If Nutribullet really does know what they're doing, they're going to show it on this map.
Indeed they will. Ladies and gentlemen, this is it. The grand final of HCS ANZ Open 1, the first Halo Infinite competitive tournament we've had here in Australia and New Zealand. I hope you are hyped. Get your poggers going in the chat. The grand final is underway. Nutribullet versus Divine Mind. It's going to be a cracker of the game. I hand it over to you, Hoggy, to take us into it.
Yep, game number 1 of the grand finals. We're on board with Pips. Shots ringing out across the map. All players from Nutribullet have pushed out. Prady's the only one left there. They're going to be able to grab camo. Seduce has it. He runs back, and he's going to stay alive with that camo. Willie, though, he doesn't, though. He gets taken down. So the camo has already been burned. 3 down now for Divine Minds, though. Not a great start.
Interesting there, Divine Mind actually managed to put the first kill on the board for the game, and then after that, they went 3 down almost immediately. It's like Nutribullet heard the call, and they just said, nah, we're not having any of that, and then took down 3 members of Divine Mind, pretty much forcing Divine Mind to have to stop any semblance of a push that they have. And just as I say this, you know, we're seeing Barcode right now. He's already grabbing the flag, taking it out. The game has just begun, Barcode. Give him some breathing room.
Yeah, absolutely no fear as he tries to run it, but I'm not sure if that was the best time to grab it. Divine Minds do go 3 down, though, so Nutribullet still pushing in. Only 1 alive for Divine Minds. The flag is on the move through bottom middle. Can they get this flag in? This would be a great start for Nutribullet if they manage to get this.
Yeah, Prady's with a super clean, super speedy run here. You will notice that in Infinite here, flag running is super quick, you know. You may feel like, as the team who's lost their flag, that you have tabs on it, but as soon as you take your eye off it for a second, it's gone. And with that being said, Nutribullet have already put 1 on the board, just straight away, and they're running another one.
Yep,
what is going on?
There was 3 dead for Divine Minds, 4 dead for Nutribullet. The flag's out. They might be able to get a counter cap, but the nades and shots are coming in from Nutribullet. They will have to back down, slow it down just a little bit, protect this flag as best they can. Their flag is still there, so the flag hasn't been pulled. I really like what Berserk's doing, staying alive. He'll probably be able to deliver this. There's no chance for them to stop him, but the counter cap's probably going to come in through for Nutribullet as they're already pulling it bottom middle.
Is this the kind of dance we're going to see for the rest of the game? Because so far it's been team caps, other team grabs flag, pulls out. If we see this, this is going to be a long one because we're going to see such a deviation in sort of play styles at the end. Both teams are really going to have to slow down their pace in order to get good control over this map because as you mentioned before, coming into the map, this is one of those ones where you can get control. You can start to make a push into the enemy side base and make sure that you know where they're spawning at all times.
Yep, that's the second cap for Nutribullet. Unfortunately for Divine Minds, they are down a player, but that shouldn't stop Nutribullet from continuing because that's how it has to go, unfortunately for them. They find 1 top mid. Rated goes down. Both of them over in the corner of pink side. Seduce gets a second, so it's 3 dead now for Divine Mind. Seduce, Barcode's pushing in. A player behind him in the base, perfectly trying to stop him, but his teammate gets the kill. Camo's up. They're going to start running this flag.
Yeah, really tough position for Divine Mind to be in right now, but they're down but not out. We know how tough Divine Mind is as a team, and their mental is strong right now. You can see that they're going to be playing with no fear coming into this match, and that's exactly what they did because they immediately matched the flag cap that Nutribullet made in the start and matched it with their own. So if they continue to do that, they're still putting kills on the board. They still have great team shots and great communication going forward.
Yeah, Pip's only on 1 kill, unfortunately. It is 3 caps to 1. Beautiful use of the thruster as Barco takes down Berserk. He'll be pushing in, trying to stay alive. Does not want to go top middle. He's going to head into the base. Pips does have camo. He is the last alive for Divine Minds. He'll probably just have to play sneaky and try to stop the flag as it comes to him. Camo is up in 26 seconds as well.
Yeah, Pips is just going to swat flag here, play a bit defensively, make sure that he's playing a bit of that anchor role for his team, because they know that them having the flag puts them in a really difficult position.
Praddy's with the teabag. A little bit of disrespect. Another player from Divine Minds drops out, so we might end up just having a forfeit, unfortunately, for Divine Minds. Even though this series probably was going to head in this direction, this is definitely not what you want to see. The game was 1-1 when he dropped out, you know, and they'd only just capped another flag, so they were proving that they could hang, and it's just so unfortunate for them.
Yeah, super unfortunate, but it is what it is. We can see Nutribullet just sort of trying to wrap up the game here a little bit, seeing if they could get a good alley-oop on the flag, possibly from the bottom to the top. Trying out some new tech here, which we might see in later series. You know, again, it does put Divine Minds in a bit of an unfortunate situation, but it is definitely an it is what it is situation. They did try to play on originally, but sometimes that's just what happens.
Yep, so that's the first game to Nutribullet. Unfortunately for Divine Minds, they have a player disconnect. It's not really how we expected it to go. Maybe the scoreline was, but that's not really what you want to see right off the bat. But it's 1-0 now to Nutribullet.
Yeah, just you know, as you mentioned, that's probably quite possibly the scoreline that we would have seen if all players would have been in there, but maybe not just so far in the sort of free reign element that they did. Really good overall performances in that early game though from Divine Minds, because they were playing really strong. You could see that they were giving Nutribullet back what they had, but yeah, unfortunately, technical difficulties.
Yeah, Rated with 12 kills, 2 kills to Pip. Rated was doing work though, so he was getting things done for his team, and that was probably one of the reasons why at the start the game was really close. They were able to counter-cap straight off the bat. They might have gone down 2-1 and unfortunately lost the player, but Rated was keeping them in it, and that's probably one of the reasons why the game was so close.
I'd be a bit scared though. Looking at Madsy's accuracy there, 67% is insane. Could you imagine what he could have racked up if the game went on? That dude is absolutely cracked on the controller right now, and you know, this being grand finals, he's definitely going to be giving it his all.
Yeah, no, definitely giving it his all. So, unfortunately for Divine Minds, they go down in the first game, but let's check out how things unfolded off the bat, because it got very, very crazy. One flag got pulled, the other one got pulled, then the other one got pulled, it just went back on the board. Non-stop action at the start, which is not really too surprising off this map. If you can get the kills, you really can run it, because you can really work out where the other team is going to spawn and know when your chance starts to run it and when it isn't your chance.
Yeah, it makes it super easy on a map like Aquarius to take advantage of what a counter cap is. So as soon as, you know, our team caps, they're a bit down, they sort of have to recoup themselves, but if you, as the opposing team, can get in their base, wipe them, then it's pretty much a free flag from that point onwards. Yeah,
for sure. Like, as soon as you throw the flag out, you're directly into the front court of that team's base, and then you can basically just run it bottom middle, run it, you know, pink side, car side, and you can just run it straight into your base. It's real fast to get the flag from one side of the map to the other when you can just drop it off the front.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how things pan out going from that CTF game there onto our next match, which is Slayer on Bazaar, which I know for a fact is a map that I've seen plenty of Nutribullet take on, and they have always been so strong and so consistent on that map. If I were Divine Minds right now, I'd be a little bit scared of what Barcode is about to do to me.
Yeah, well, Pips unfortunately didn't start that game too well, so he'll have to pick it up a bit. Rated's obviously proven that he can slay, and he's ready for this series. So he's going to have to step up and try to lift his teammates, or even just put him in his backpack, maybe?
Yeah, there's plenty of positions, though, where Divine Minds can sort of take advantage of. There is a really good power weapon on Bazaar in the rocket launcher, and of course you have things like the grapple hook and camo to take advantage of that as well. So if we can see Divine Minds here sort of take more control of those power weapons, which is a huge difference from a map like Aquarius, I think they're actually going to really manage to pop off here. And Pips, come on, man, I need you to get those rockets.
Yeah, he does. He does need to get those rockets. He needs a bit of help at the moment. He's struggling a little bit, but maybe he should be able to bring it back in the next game. I believe in Pips. He's a top player, and he's in the grand final for a reason. But going into this game, into the next map, we're on Bazaar. There's a Bulldog on this map, and I don't really see people use it too much. But do you think the Bulldog could come more into this map or like be more useful on this map as time goes on? It's not the greatest map for the Bulldog.
I think it all really depends on the player styles that we have at foot. I don't think in this map we'll see it much because all 8 players, you know, on both sides of the team are just so strong when it comes to their BR mechanics that they're not really going to need to use the Bulldog all that much. If they're listening to me right now, they're more than free to prove me wrong. But that being said, it's going to be tough. Maybe if players can sort of learn to play around the grapple hook Bulldog combination more and sort of get in for those CQC kills, that 3-shot with the Bulldog on these HCS settings is really strong. So if players can sort of learn that a bit more, maybe dedicate one player into really getting in and being a CQC expert, then we could see that game style develop.
Yeah, no, for sure. With the grapple hook, the repulsor, the thruster being added to the game, all great additions that seem to be working perfectly in the sandbox at the moment. And then if you put them in combination with the Bulldog, the Heat Wave, the Mangler, all of those are close range weapons that you can really, really utilize. So with the grappler and the repulsor, even though the repulsor seems to be used as more of a utility to get up on higher ground, push people away from you, but with the thruster and the grappler, you should be able to use those Bulldogs, the Heat Waves, and the Mangler to your advantage on all of these maps. Most of the maps have at least one of those weapons.
Yeah, again, it is like really tough because it seems like we're just trying to use Future Sight here and see what we can. It feels like we're two just old Halo boomers talking about all these new mechanics, and I feel like we need a third boomer here, right? To give us his piece of advice, his words of wisdom, and that would be none other than Maniac.
I am the boomer of boomers in ANZ Halo, but this boomer comes bearing good news. I hear we're looking at a rematch, gentlemen. So that will be very, very cool. Waiting for the final word in my ear, but I hear that both teams have agreed to a rematch. And, yep, the little talking thing in my ear says that we will be seeing a rematch. So to me, that is fantastic news. Obviously, guys, we're all playing by the book, playing by the rules, but it looks like everyone wants the best outcome. So can confirm, 100% confirmed source, we will be seeing a rematch of that game, which is great to see. So we'll be going back to Aquarius. We'll be going back to the CTF. We were 1-1 when there was a DC. My understanding is that it will be a full reset. So I'm just getting confirmation on that. But it will be a rematch nonetheless. So great news, Hoggy, to hear that.
Yeah, absolutely amazing, because I want to see the start of the game again, because that's exactly what we wanted from the grand final. And Divine Minds brought themselves into this series prepared, and you could tell right off the start that things were going a lot better for them. It was 1-1. They were losing a second cap as the DC happened, but they were ready, and they were ready to play on this map.
Let's do this again. Round number 2, gents. We're going to try this again. Aquarius, CTF. Let's pray to the internet gods that we're not going to have any disconnects. The last time was a trial run. We're going in for real this time. And Bluey, I'm going to cut to you as we get into this grand final. We're going from the start. We're running it back. Game number 1, Aquarius, CTF. Bluey, I'll leave it to you to take it away.
Fantastic. All right, so let's see how the players sort of change up their play style, because they know that opening the last map, that it was a bit of a tango, a bit of a dance, a bit of a back and forth. They knew that eliminating players means that they could get through to the opposing side's flag. So let's see how they change it up. But as I'm saying this, my God, Madsy just cracked with that double kill. He's making such good space for his teammates, and it seems pretty even so far, Hoggy.
Yep, thruster in the hands of Rated. He'll get shots out on Pips. Won't be able to take him down. Backs down perfectly. Nutribullet 2 dead. They're stuck over on car side at the moment. Flag hasn't moved. Don't know where Camo is. Camo was picked up and maybe burnt or not really used at all. So the game's pretty even. Nowhere near close to what we had last game, unfortunately, which would have been amazing if we could have. But things are very much even and slower at the moment.
Yeah, they are actually really slowing it down here. Maybe both teams sort of coming in for this rematch underestimated each other a bit in how aggressive that they were going to be on both of these plays. And Aquarius is such like an open but also closed map that aggression is really rewarding. So maybe they've both decided, okay, so maybe off the start, if we slow it down here, we'll be able to control the pace of the rest of the game a lot better.
Yep, big kills from Berserk. He'll get a double. We're on board with Seduce, trying to move over to help his teammate Prades, but he does go down. So things are looking pretty slow at the moment. Prades gets shots out. He won't be able to do it though. He'll be double teamed. Berserk gets the kill. 1 dead for each team. Heatwave in the hands of Rated. This is what I want to see. I want to see players utilize all these new weapons. You'll find Prades back down. 1 dead for each team again. Again, this is nothing like the first game. Things are playing very, very slow. Raider just wants to use this heat wave as much as he can. He does not want to leave this room.
No, as you just said, it's definitely not as fast-paced as what we experienced on that first round there. We're seeing the team slow down a little bit more, really focus on those team shots. Getting that heat wave kill is massive for them because, again, that was 3 down on the side of Nutribullet, and I feel like we're seeing a lot of that on the scoreboard at the moment, and that is not something that Nutribullet wants right now because being 3 down means that you're giving up so much space to the hands of Divine Mind, and it's pretty much just opening up your base in order for them to make a flag cap.
Yep, Berserks has started super strong here with 8 kills. His flag will be pulled. He's in the enemy base, and he's going to pull it towards Pips, but he has to stay alive. He does not want to die here. The flag is still moving across the map from Nutribullet as Divine Minds are trying to stop the flag, and as they pull their own, Berserk playing perfectly at the moment, doesn't need to do anything too crazy, just needs to stay with his flag, not allow Nutribullet to do anything. He is getting challenged by Seduce though. Seduce is trying to take him down, Seduce backing down. So this is going to be rough for Berserk. Berserk's getting pushed from multiple angles. He's on a killing spree, so he really has started this game perfectly. Flags are out for both teams, so back to a stalemate with the flags though.
Huge shutdown kill there from Berserk. I don't think if he didn't manage to kill Seduce there, he would have been tracked down so easily, but him being able to get that nade off, get that kill on Seduce means that Divine Mind could make all the space that they needed with that flag, and it's so close to their base, but unfortunately they need the return right now.
Yeah, they really, really do. We're still in the stalemate. On board with Madzies. He's got a teammate there. Looks like the flag will be returned, though. Madzies should be able to put it in. He does. He might go down. He does. So it's 2 dead now for Nutribullet. All up for Divine Minds. Slays finds another. 3 dead for Nutribullet. So Divine Minds has Seduce trapped with both the 2 of them spawning up now.
Yeah, really good plays by Rated up there, just sitting sort of top mid. Unfortunately, as I say that, he does go down, but you can see he was playing Overlook for his teammates, just trying to give them the intel as to where the members of Nutribullet were at all times in order for them to be able to make a good coordinated push, which is looking like it's been really difficult for them so far. It seems like Nutribullet just have the map control, they have the slay control, they just have the stronger BRs.
Yep, so 1-0 now with 7 minutes, 50 seconds left on the clock. Camo in the hands of Prades. He's just going to have to be really, really careful. He has to return this flag with his team. He's still not sprinting. Even though his teammate needs help, he's still not sprinting. It looks like Nutribullet have really decided that they do not want to sprint with this camouflage. Prades, though, with the double kill, he'll get the return. So perfect work from him. He'll grab the heat wave as well with camo. It does run out. And let's see what he can do with the heat wave as he pushes in to the Divine base.
Yeah, that sort of slow-paced, sneaky play style from a member of Nutribullet isn't something that we're really used to seeing, you know, especially after that round 1 dance. They are really such an aggressive team, but that aggression comes from confidence. They've played enough as a group of 4 to know what they can do and how they can do it. They know that they can execute on those BR kills so solidly and take the map positions that they need in order to make space for the rest of them.
Yeah, it feels like Nutribullet has been in the base of Divine Minds for the last minute. It's either Madzi or Seduce, but one of them is in there. Madzi's just trying to get a random run bottom middle. 3 dead for Nutribullet. The flag is being run by Divine Minds. They're going to return their own. This looks like a cap for Divine Minds, so they've done a beautiful job. Even though Nutribullet was in their base, it did not matter. They are still able to get a cap and tie the score 1-1.
Yeah, 1-1. Great stuff coming out from Divine Minds. They sort of flipped the script on its head a little bit there and actually managed to make a really convincing run. They just need to pull that off a few more times in order to give Nutribullet, you know, the what for. But I'm saying that, and I'm also looking at the scoreboard, Hoggy, and Nutribullet doesn't even seem to be getting that many kills out. It's just overall map pressure that they have, forcing Divine Mind to sort of have to hang back in their base a little bit. Yeah,
Divine Mind's definitely outslaying Pips. Off to a much better game this time than he was last time. He's loving the reset. Camo in the hands of Barcode. He'll be able to get away. Let's see if he uses the sprint at all, because not a single player from Nutribullet has managed to use the sprint when they have camo. That's a trade for either team. 1 dead for either. Barcode gets absolutely challenged. He gets 1 with the stick. Doesn't manage to get Berserk. Super unlucky with the stick. Could have easily killed Berserk, but he managed to get away. 2 down now for Divine Mind. Berserk's taking shots. He'll back down to P2 and just stay alive the best he can.
We are seeing a lot of instances here of Nutribullet going 3 down, but Divine Mind just doesn't seem to be making the space on the map for it to count. You know, even then we've got 2-2, but as I say that, Divine Mind do go down another one. And Rated just has to sit back in his base. All that space that they could have made just in those seconds, those crucial seconds in order to push out from that base are gone.
Yep, on board with Rated as he's just trying to defend his base. He's going to get charged by 2. His team shot's been ringing out across to help him out. He gets a wingman for the assist. His teammates there to help him as well. He'll be fighting Seduce. Rated staying alive perfectly. It's 2 dead for Nutribullet. He'll help his teammate take out another. So they stop the push from Nutribullet and manage to gain control of their base even though they are 2 down.
We only have about, 4.5 minutes left in this game type. If it does sit on 1-1 for the rest of this 4.5 minutes, it is going to go into a sudden death mode. And that's where things are going to get intense. Teams are going to start have to playing aggressive in order to get a hold of those flags. And we do see Barcode here making a really good flag run, sort of running it down that bottom mid-section. Speed, such utility of that juggle mechanic, and he's not even hitting any. Oh, just as I say that, he wasn't really hitting any of those walls, but it is such a tricky thing to master, and Barcode just did it with absolute near flawless execution.
Yeah, perfect run from Nutribullet. They threw the flag down. Barcode grabbed it when the other team was 3 down, and he ran it all the way through for a perfect flag cap for Nutribullet. They're still in the Divine Mind's base. Barcode's going to push in. He uses a perfect thruster into Berserker, manages to take him out, gets help from his teammates Seduce. He'll find Slays, put some shots out, and just back down and let Seduce push in.
Yeah, just overall fantastic plays. We're starting to see that little bit of aggression come out from Nutribullet here as they do have 1 up on the board over on Divine Mind. And they must be aware of the clock as much as I am pointing it out, because knowing that they have 2 on the board means that they've got to start going, and they can build up that momentum, they can build up that snowball in order for them to just make the rest of those 3 caps really matter. But as I'm saying this again, Divine Mind making a really good run. They have the flag just under their cap point, so if they can actually manage to get out and touch that flag, which I don't think is going to be able to happen here unless if Slays can pull off some really clutch kills, they're going to be in a really tough position going forward.
Yep, the flag is still not returned though for Nutribullet. Divine Minds need to rush in there and try get a cap. Barcode's going huge though. He will get taken down. Can Pips get a touch? He does not manage. He doesn't. He goes down, but his teammate grabs it. So that's a beautiful grab from Rated to keep it alive, but all of Nutribullet are flushing in. Berserk's trying to get shots down. He won't be able to do much. His teammate gets a grab, though, to stop the flag, which is perfect. Seduce is coming in. He'll take down another. They trade. The flag is still not returned, and Nutribullet come out on top, and they will get the return eventually.
Oh, so overall, super good plays from Divine Mind there. You can tell that they were calling with their hearts out to get on top of that flag and make that grab, and they did manage to do it a couple of times, but it's just those crucial moments that really matter. And it is unfortunate that you have such slaying kings like Seduce and Barcode really perform when it really matters to take down those members of Divine Mind, so they can't actually get a touch on that flag.
Yeah, Rated did not care who was returning his flag there. He grabbed it with a millisecond left on the return. It didn't matter in the end because they ended up not getting the cap, but they still did a perfect job of stopping Nutribullet from capping the flag. It was a crazy, crazy attempt from them. So we're on board with Rated. Camo in the hands of Seduce. He's going to help out his teammate. They're running this flag through P. There's 3 up for Divine Minds. They do not care. With the camo in the hands of Seduce, this will help them easily run this flag in. The flag is almost in the base. Seduce drops down, trades with 1. It's only 1 dead for Divine Minds, but it did not matter. Nutribullet pop in another one to make it 3-1.
Easy, easy cap for Nutribullet, and we're starting to see that snowball sort of build up for them. They have really good momentum here in order to take another flag, and they did. They've got it halfway across the map in the hands of Madsy, so all it's going to take now is just convincing enough brawls to be able to touch that flag and make it move forward.
Yeah, Madsy did not care. As soon as that flag was in, he grabbed it again. Slays is in a tough position. He'll find 2 of them. He goes down, 2 dead for Divine Minds. 2 players from Nutribullet pushing off respawn for this flag. And they're gonna be able to get a touch and keep moving it across. Praddy's, he grabs the heat wave, goes down, was 1 shot. Berserk's pushing in, Pip's pushing in. They're gonna try get the return, and it looks like they will be able to.
Yeah, incredible plays still here, just coming out of Nutribullet. They have such good coordination. You can tell that every player on their team knows where each other are at all times. The calls that they're making, I mean, I couldn't imagine being in their comms call right now because you probably wouldn't be able to hear the game itself, and you're just reacting off of calls at that point, Hoggy.
Yeah, again, Nutribullet are back in the Divine base. So they're just taking over Divine's base, and Divine do not care. They're just running away, going for the other flag as Barcode starts to run it. So they keep getting control of this base, and they keep running the flag all the time. There's only 7 seconds left, though, so it won't really matter. We'll go into overtime, but this will be game number 2 to Nutribullet.
Yeah, fantastic play overall from Nutribullet. Really convincing win there. And seeing them manage to sort of take that aggression, they held off a little bit in the beginning of the game, which I thought overall was really good, because I feel like it threw Divine Mind off a little bit there. For them to sort of break into, once they got that hold of that second flag, made that cap, they were just like, all right, it's belts are off now, boys. We're going straight in.
Yeah, but the fact that the game went for the whole time period, I think proves that with the disconnect in the first game. I called that one the second game. It's actually still the first game because we managed to have a disconnect in the first one. We got a replay on this one, and I think that first game proved why we should have had this full gameplay that we got.
Yeah, no huge KDs coming out from the side of Nutribullet or Divine Minds, really. You know, not really to be expected. Rated going +2 on the side of Divine Minds, and Seduce going +5 on his end. But overall, just really strong plays. You can see Barcode absolutely putting down for his team there with 17 assists and a 61% accuracy rating. Are you kidding me? These dudes are insane.
Yeah, definitely not missing many shots. Most damage from him as well. Only 3,800 damage from Prades, but it didn't matter. They still got the win 3-1. Their teamwork's obviously on point as they managed to bring it home anyways.
Yeah, they're not messing around, and you can tell just from this first game performance that they want this grand finals in the bag. They want to finish up early so they can go and grab some dinner before it's too dark. But man, oh man, these players, like, looking forward, it's going to be such an insane couple of games that we're going to have next on us, because there's still the potential for Divine Minds to be able to turn this all around. They did not play bad by any means whatsoever.
Yeah, no, they did not play horrible at all. They were in that game the whole time, right up till the very last second. Even Nutribullet weren't sure if they were going to win. That's why they were running the flag with 10 seconds left. So you know that the next game should still be close as well. We had this point in the game where it was a massive grab from Slays to keep it alive. They weren't able to cap it, but they showed that they can be in this series and they can still win this series.
Yeah, absolutely. We just need to see more of those really strong performances come forward from the side of Divine Minds. Maybe some better comms. Not too sure what was going on there. They might have been a bit shaken up by having that one, that first game restart. But they can shake that off now. They're in the game now. Now is the time to play. Now is the time to really get in it and show that, hey, Nutribullet aren't just the most dominant team. We've got this too, guys.
Yeah, we're going to be going into Slayer Bazaar for game number 2. There's quite a different range of weapons on this map in terms of power weapons, because we've got the rockets coming in. We could say that game was very even in terms of slaying. You know, there wasn't too much difference, even though the scoreline was obviously in favor of Nutribullet. But with the rockets coming in on this map, the teamwork plus the rockets should allow for Nutribullet to potentially win this Slayer easier than maybe they showed in the previous game on Capture the Flag.
Yeah, well, I feel like, if anything, Slayer is really here for Nutribullet to shine, right? We know most of these players just from viewing them on Twitch, or, you know, when they've been doing their streams, or even just some highlight clips, that they are all like exponential main Slayers in a team of just Titans. So in a game like this, where Slayer is even more snowbally than a Capture the Flag game, if they can manage to get a hold, really retain it, and just put more and more kills up on the board, which all these players are very, very capable of, it's going to be really tough for Divine Mind to bounce back. Yeah,
no, definitely. And especially going onto Bazaar, where it's not a typical base versus base sort of Slayer. We really have sort of the rotating around the map. If you kill players on one side, they'll spawn on the other, and that's something that the players need to be aware of going into this game, especially for Divine Minds. They need to make sure that they're controlling certain parts of the map to really take control of the game over Nutribullet, because we know that Nutribullet knows what they're doing very early on in this game, even though it's only been out 5 days.
Yeah, it's going to be really tough for Divine Mind here to sort of get control of those, as you were mentioning before, like the power weapons that are on Bazaar. The rockets is so critical in order to be racking up kills. And those rockets is exactly it. I know for a fact that rockets love to be in the hands of Barcode. He's going to make work with them. Seduce as well. Every team on Nutribullet knows how to use power weapons to their fullest potential, as well as the equipment on the map. So it's going to be really tricky. Bazaar has definitely been one of the maps where we've seen a lot more of those flashier, sort of like grapple hook plays coming out from a lot of these big name players. So if we can see any of that, it's going to be such a delight. Yeah,
that would be amazing. You know what I would love to see that we were talking about before? I would love to see grapple hook bulldog. Bring in the grapple hook bulldog for me. I love all these extra little equipments with all these new fancy little weapons. I want to see them in combination. So maybe Nutribullet can pull it out for me.
Yeah, Nutribullet, if you're listening, please do Hoggy's request.
Please.
But also, yeah, don't throw the game just because you want to muck around and use the Bulldog there, because I don't think it's quite worth a grand final spot just to play around with a new toy.
Yeah, nah, maybe not. Maybe I'm asking for too much.
We'll see how they go, but you know, again, it being Bazaar and sort of like a more of a mirrored map, as you said, you know, you have those two sort of deck positions, those bridge positions, where players can sort of plink across map, exchange shots. It is really tough to actually get in on those crucial sort of power weapon spawns and the equipment spawns and the power-up spawns too. But we're probably going to see a bit of a back and forth for a lot of the time on the map here, Hoggy.
Yeah, definitely. Those power weapons are really in the open. But we're into game number 2 on board with Berserk. Can the squad of Divine Minds bring it back to 1 apiece? He'll find 1. Perfect shots from him. His teammates take him down. They're 2 dead, though, for each team. Overshield is in the hands of Pips. He will use that straight away. He does not want to waste any time.
Yeah, no, Pips being in control of that OS now, as long as he can get his team to follow up on these shots that he's making, is going to be devastating for the members of Nutribullet. But just as I say that OS was just melted. You cannot stand up to 3 players peppering you with BR shots, even with Overshield. It is just not going to last.
Yeah, Slays and Berserk working perfectly together to get the team shot on Madsy. Pips picks up another. There's another team shot ringing out. 3 down for Nutribullet. So Divine Minds now have control of the middle of the map. It's Seduce. He manages to find a kill back. Slays does not care. He was going to try go in there and clean up Seduce, but he won't be able to. He misses the jump. He just stays alive bottom middle, which is exactly what he needs to do. Praddy's trying to chase down Rated. He won't be able to get him. He'll find Pips. His teammates ringing out the shots as well. He pushes straight in. His teammates are always there. Nutribullet are always next to each other, and they're always working together.
Yeah, Divine Minds here, their positioning is still actually really good. You know, you can see Slayers over there right in Blue Elbow, just sort of anchoring down for his team. You did see other members of Divine Minds sort of holding that red side rocket position as well. And both of those are really good overlook positions, because if any player on the map goes to mid side, if any player from Nutribullet goes to the middle, those 2 members on both sides of the map are going to be able to call it out instantly and put down team shots.
Yep, Nutribullet have control of the middle of the map. The Overshield is spawning in 15 seconds. It's only 1 kill the lead for Nutribullet. Team shots ringing across the map. They won't be able to take him down though. Slays somehow manages to get the kill. Praddy's goes down. 3 dead now for Nutribullet. The Overshield is about to spawn. Divine Minds are going to grab that for themselves. And here's the Bulldogs in the hands of Slays. They've got the power weapon and they've got the Overshield to work with.
Yeah, Divine Minds have definitely slowed down a little bit here. They realised that they got picked off a fair few times in that early game, and they know that they sort of need to make an adjustment in their play. And they are 3 up on the board right now, which is actually super crucial. Make that 2 up, 3 up again. Dear Lord, but it is super crucial for a game like Slayer, especially on Bazaar, where, as you mentioned, the spawns are constantly switching up. You need a good positional point of control on Bazaar, and that can be found within the scoreboard itself.
Yep, rockets are up in 24 seconds. This time, Nutribullet have control. Divine Minds trapped all over on this side. Matty sees 3. He'll back down and ask for his teammates' help. He's 1 shot. He might even drop down. No, he's using the Bulldog to full effect if he can when they push in. No, he goes down. Rockets were up. I'm not sure if anyone has grabbed them yet. Actually, they're up in 5 seconds. So Nutribullet still have a little bit of control. Divine Minds have managed to push out, but the rockets are spawning.
Yeah, I think overall it's just been positioning that's been the crucial part in this game so far. There hasn't really been any super flashy power-up weapon plays. And just as I say that, we have the triple kill with the hook. That's what you love to see. Look at that, boys. He gets a hold of those rockets now, and he has the grapple hook. Can we see a bit of Rain of Death?
That's absolutely nuts. He finds another kill and he's on the killing spree. He's got another rocket to work with. He gets a double, not able to get the second triple, but that was actually incredible. The way the grappler literally pulled him through the terrain for a back smack triple kill, that's absolutely nuts.
Barcode, he loves Slayer. This is absolutely where he comes to shine because he's got one thing to focus on. And if he can add a little spice into that, if he can go, oh, I feel like making a flashy play, that's exactly what he's going to do. And we're seeing that firsthand.
Yeah, Slays finds Seduce as he's got another player above him trying to stay alive. Two of his teammates are down, but he's with the other one and they work perfectly together to take down Madzi. It's in a weird spot for Slays right now. He's got his teammates around him, but it looks like Nutribullet are pushing out. He's trying to put shots out for his teammates. He can't really help too much though. Every time he pokes out, he's getting shot. Overshield in the hands of Nutribullet. Nutribullet are really pushing away now with 6 kills into the lead.
Yeah, it wasn't really much that the members of Divine Mind could do there. Going up against Prades with that OS, you know, it just gives him so much more of a buffer. If he feels like he's going to miss some shots or make some movement mistakes, you know, he has that extra shield there to sort of compensate for that, which is exactly what we saw happen because he took that fight like it was easy anyway. And we're seeing Prades just this entire time, he stayed alive. He's taken some damage, but he knows when to pull back. He knows when to call for his teammates.
Yeah, 3 dead, 4 dead for Nutribullet. We're on board with Barcode though. He was the last one alive, sorry. He had the Bulldog in hand. He'll take down one. Nutribullet all spawning up. Seduce the last one left in the middle of the map. Divine Mind's a little bit all over the place though, with Nutribullet spawning all up together. Yeah,
Nutribullet has taken like a really convincing lead here. It is 33 to 26 and they are holding that super convincingly. And just as I say that, they get another kill on the board. It's pretty safe to say that once they hit that halfway mark, you know, above 25 kills for a Slayer match, they started to feel things getting into the motion of a little bit, and I wouldn't be surprised if that play that we saw Barcode do before fueled a little bit of that team synergy a little bit more.
5 kills the lead. Berserk finds one. He'll make him back down. He does challenge him though. Madzi manages to get the shots out. He'll get the call-outs in. His teammate will shoot across as usual. Every single time a call-out comes, they get found. Prades goes down, 2 dead for Nutribullet. We're on board with Seduce. The overshield's coming up in 10 seconds, so he doesn't want to do too much here and go crazy and jump out like that, but he does. He'll get taken down. Divine Minds have a little bit of control at the moment. Berserk will drop down for the kill. He gets one melee, gets the other. Overshield is up. His teammates are there to help him. He'll go down. Slays is still bottom mid. He'll grab the overshield, and he doesn't manage to pop it though. Double kill from Barcode. Barcode goes in. He's going to get the overshield for himself. So Nutribullet, they may not have had much control, but they scrapped it out, and they do get the overshield. They are up by 6 kills now. They might be able to close it out with this overshield.
Yeah, one of the few things that you have to notice here is that overshield doesn't work like it used to in the old Halo games. You don't just pick it up and then it's like, you know, Bob's your uncle, you can move along with it. You actually have to be aware of when you're popping that overshield, when you want that buffer, and when you want to put pressure on the enemy team.
Yeah, Barcode has to back down. He's getting chased by Rated. Rated does have 1 rocket left that was in the hands of Seduce before he got taken down. Barcode uses the grappler. Absolutely amazing use. He comes in though, finds Slays. He gets one, does not find Slays though. Good cleanup in the end anyway, even though he managed to challenge 2. So Slays now has the grapple hook in his hand. He uses it to get away, drops back, takes out another. Divine Minds, they're still down by 7 kills. It's only 3 kills left for Nutribullet. Barcode's on the other side of the map. He's trying to clean him up. He does. 2 kills left now for Nutribullet.
2 kills make the difference here for Nutribullet taking this game, and unfortunately for Divine Minds, there's not a lot of room to breathe. There's 1 more kill left on the board for Nutribullet, and they're going to be putting down those team shots as heavily as they can. All they need to do right now is catch an enemy player out of position, and that could be Pips right here, but he does manage to get away on the bar. He does get taken down, and that is the game. Slayer is done and dusted in the hands of Nutribullet. Incredible plays coming out from Nutribullet overall.
Yeah, 50 to 42, a really close Slayer in the end. Insane plays from Barcode with the grappler. He got 2 triples in a row for a killing spree, and Nutribullet proving why they are the best team. They may have only won by 8 kills, but it still felt like they had control. They had overshield a lot. They had the Rockets a lot as well, and that was one of the probably the key reasons why they were able to win the match.
I would definitely say maybe for some of the newer viewers out there that an 8-kill difference in a Slayer game is actually pretty substantial. You know, we tend to see these Slayer games get down to the absolute minimum wire. I'm talking 49-49, and this is something that happens all the time. But when you have main Slayers on your team, such as Nutribullet, Barcode, dropping 21 kills, only 11 deaths, huge, massive outcome for him. And then you have supporting team members like Prades. Let's give him a shout out with 12 assists.
Yeah, Slay's on the other side doing the best he can. 9 assists from him and Berserk. But the assists aren't even that high when you look at Nutribullet. Every time it felt like one of their players was weak, they would always back down and get help. And damage ringing out, you can see it there. Barcode with the most damage again. It's just a typical thing from Barcode we've seen every single game on stream. He's always dominating, and he is cracked.
I feel like we've dropped this man's name so many times in this broadcast, and I feel like we'll keep doing it over and over again because Barcode is just such one of the huge talents we have in the Infinite scene already. You know, 5 days from the game, watching this play, zip through those columns with the grapple. He knows exactly when to use these pieces of equipment so early, and that's so crucial to winning these gunfights and these matches.
Yeah, that grapple and triple kill was absolutely insane. It didn't even look like he grappled onto him, but as soon as you saw him flying through the terrain, you were like, what is going on? And he gets a free back smack. It's just crazy what you can do with the grappler, the repulsor, and the thruster. And he's putting it to work right now. And every time Barcode needed to be clutch, he was.
Yeah, honestly, how do you even react to that on the side of Divine Minds? Like, there's only so many things you can do in that situation. And moving forward, now that Nutribullet have 2 games up on Divine Minds have got to be feeling the pressure a little bit here. You know, as if game 1 wasn't enough. Now they just experienced what happened in Bazaar and seeing that, oh, okay, a player like Barcode manages to go, you know, 21 and 11 with a huge amount of damage output. What can we do to play around that? How do we counter that?
Yeah, it sounds like they really, really do need to shut down Barcode. I've been saying that their team shot is crazy, but at the end of the day, if you can manage to get that 4 shot on Barcode, because let's be honest, if you get into a fight with him and he doesn't manage to back down, you need to hit all your shots and you need to be taking him out. You can't let him get behind cover because his teammates are going to help him out, and it's going to make it very hard for your team. But moving on to the next match, we're going on to Oddball Recharge. The Slays overall from both games have been pretty even, but Oddball is a little different with an objective sort of coming into it that can be moved around the map. And with the flags sort of, you know, sitting in either base, Slay's just being a Slayer, with the Oddball being able to move around the map, it'll mean Nutribullet can freely move wherever they want, slay whoever they want, and put the ball wherever they want.
It is going to be really difficult for them. You know, Divine Mind adopted more of a Slayer playstyle back when we saw them playing Oddball on streets before. But if they have to go up against such a beast like Barcode on the sticks, then it's going to be difficult for them to adapt that playstyle, especially on a map like Recharge where you've got such good positions to hold the ball overall.
Yeah, Oddball on Recharge. We're into game number 3. If Divine Minds can win this, maybe they can bring it back, but it's Nutribullet playing for the tournament win as Prades drops down, finds 1. It's 2 down now for Divine Minds. Prades finds a second. The camo is there for him to grab. He's left it for his teammates, so they have camo. Won't be able to grab the Oddball yet, but it's a good start for Nutribullet.
Really, really good start for Nutribullet. Being able to get that power up is such a massive thing, especially on a map like Recharge here. And they've left it to Seduce with the camo to get the sword as well. Divine Mind, if they're not already aware of it, they're going to have to be, because that's going to be such a nuisance having to deal on a map like this and on Oddball.
Yeah, the time's already ticking down. The camo has almost run out already. Prades may have a sword. He's going to try grab the Oddball, but he won't be able to. He's just racking up little amounts of time, the best he can for his team. I can't believe we're already a minute into the game before someone even picked up the Oddball. So I don't know if it's the fact that the Oddball spawns there or if people are really just trying to get control of the map and certain positions before they decide to grab the Oddball.
I definitely feel like at this level, it's being able to make sure that you have you know, scoreboard advantage. You have the numbers up to be like, okay, we can take ball now, get a substantial amount of time, and actually make a good setup or a good hold in a position of the map that we know works for us. It is really difficult on recharge. You know, there are quite a few spots. We saw players earlier today playing on this attic side. We saw players today playing top elevator, and we also saw them playing on back blue. So it just becomes of, okay, where can we adapt to the team that we're playing against, and where can we set up?
Yeah, exactly. Perfect pinch from Nutribullet, though, to get the ball back in their hands. Barcode goes down. They do have the ball up in pipes. Berserk's charging in through top middle. He's got a teammate in Dark Hall as well. They're all pushing in. You can see him on his screen. He'll take on Praddies. Praddies 4-shots him. No problem for Praddies. It's 2 dead now, though, for Nutribullet, and Praddies does have the sword in his hand. He finds one. He's got another. He's got a 4-shot before. Can he do it again to Pips? It does not matter. He goes in, and he does manage to trade, so the ball will be down. Camo is up, and it'll be in the hands of Nutribullet.
Getting that lockdown, though, just that trade kill there when sort of Divine Mind was setting up on that glass position, that top glass, that attic position, was still really good for Praddies to do, because it means that their setup was completely broken. All of the players of Divine Mind were spawning on the other side of the map, and Nutribullet actually had the advantage of getting to that spot beforehand and grabbing the ball and sort of milking it for a bit of time.
Yeah, Praddies still has the sword in hand. He'll go down. Madzie's the last one alive. He does manage to stay alive. He also takes down a player. Divine Mind take control of the ball, but Nutribullet do not have a problem. There's 2 of them, and they're running in. All they need is one other person with them to take players down. Berserk's getting challenged by 3, though, and Nutribullet are always together. They're spawning up together. They're working together, and they're moving together.
These seconds are so crucial here, and you can see that all the members of Nutribullet are sticking together, just like you said. We are seeing the team coordination in full force, and that's something where Oddball really shines, is being able to differentiate between what teams have the ability to communicate really well and lay down those shots based on those communications. Because reminder, when you have the ball, you have downtime in between dropping the ball and taking your weapon back out. You have to make sure that you utilize that downtime well between your teammates in order for them to get, you know, good positioning or a kill, or just evening out the playing field.
Yeah, and we saw from Nutribullet and Madzi earlier when we had an interview with him, he said the oddball can be played anywhere. As long as your team gets the right setup, you can move it anywhere. We've been seeing them do that already in this game. Barcode's bottom middle. Camero's coming up very soon, but he does not care. He just wants to get more kills, more damage out. He's trying to stay alive. He'll be calling out to his teammates. Madzi's over there looking out across the map. It's 2 down for Nutribullet. So Divine Minds are going to try grab the ball, get themselves a setup going, because it's 3 dead for Nutribullet.
Really interesting that we seem to be sort of falling back on switching between what is Oddball and what is Slayer. It seems like teams here, when they know that things aren't optimal, when the setup isn't optimal, they're just switching for kills, which is really interesting because I don't feel like that's something that we've seen in any previous Halo title. It's always been, okay, just hold the ball for as long as possible. But here, we're seeing like completely different playstyles develop in between these players.
All of Divine Mind down now. Nutribullet have control of the ball. It'll be a bit of scrap time as they try to work out where they want to move it. He's going to start moving towards Seduce and Barcode, move it into pipes, run away from the team of Divine Minds. Madzi will take down Berserk though. Ball still in the hands of Madzi as time keeps ticking along. 70 points to 44, 2 minutes left on the clock. And Nutribullet don't really have too much of a setup, but it doesn't really matter. They know exactly where Divine Minds are.
No, Nutribullet is actually still in really good positioning here because what we're seeing is they have members of the team just sort of going around and knowing the spawns and then picking off players of Divine Mind. So Divine Mind won't be able to push this ball without at least 3 or 4 up. And just as I say that, they're 4 down. They literally can do nothing. And if they're 2 down at all times, like we've been saying, there's going to be no real successful push made on Nutribullet from them.
Yep, this is definitely round number 1 going to Nutribullet. So Nutribullet proving they still are super, super dominant no matter what map, no matter what game type. Divine Minds are going to have to try pull it back in round number 2.
Yeah, Nutribullet are literally 1 round away from taking the first ANZ tournament here, which is super, super exciting for them. I'm sure they're all feeling it, but for now, they have to keep their game faces online and make sure they keep performing at this top level, which from what I'm seeing, they just traded a blow then. They're about to trade another. Slays is 1-shot. Can anyone from Nutribullet get the kill on him? No, it doesn't actually manage to. They trade 3 down there, Nutribullet. But as I say that, geez, Barcode picks up a triple, and everything that could have been said for Divine Mind getting a shutdown there is just gone.
Yeah, what's new? We switched to Barcode. He's got a triple kill on his screen as per usual. They end up grabbing the ball. Looks like no one from Divine Minds decided to pay attention to the ball as Nutribullet run it away. Pip's going to get himself the sword, so maybe they can use this as all of them are over in elevator. Slays runs in, gets himself taken down. Raider goes down. Pip's the last one left. He's got a sword. He's going to have to wait for his teammate to help him out.
Yeah, Divine Minds have got to start playing a little bit passively here because it seems like they're losing a bit of the momentum that they might have had in the beginning of the game. And if they let that slip away from them too much, it's going to be really, really hard for them to regain it as the game goes on because seconds are so crucial in Oddball. If they don't actually manage to make a good foundational setup, then the game's already done. They have to sort of regain as a group here and make sure that they have good positioning on this map.
Yeah, we're on board with Seduce. He's helping Barcode. They'll take down Pips. 3 dead again for Divine Minds. Last one's on the ball. He'll go down as well. So this will be more time for Nutribullet. Nutribullet do not care where they've got this ball. They will get the time. They will set up and they will call out where Divine Mind is coming from, and they will move it wherever they have to.
Yeah, good point overall, and I don't know if you've noticed, but all the positions they seem to be taking give them as much view of the overall map as possible. Between the ball holder being able to look out of these, these pipe window positions, being able to get recon and sort of intelligence for the rest of the team, he's got 2 other members of his team sort of scouting out on the field and giving him every piece of information that he's missing. So Nutribullet is kind of in a position here where they always know where to move.
Interesting to point out, Pratties doesn't even have a kill yet. He doesn't even have a kill, and they're up by 40 points. He does have the camo, so maybe he can put this to use, being a little sneaky beaver. Will he go for the back smack? He does. His first kill is a back smack on Berserk. All he needed was a camouflage to do it, but he still manages to get there. 3 dead on the team of Divine Minds. We've just been watching Pratties do nothing, yet 3 of them are dead.
Yeah, Pratties just going off with that kill. And not only that, but he was able to, with the camo, just sort of stay bottom mid uncontested because the members of Divine Mind couldn't actually see where he was. So he was able to give enough communication with his teammates as to where Divine Mind were making rotations from elevator into bottom control room. And from that, Nutribullet were just able to adjust to it ever so slightly and do-si-do move the ball around the map, just as you can see that they have.
Oh, Pip's using the Mangler the best he can, gets shots out, does manage to take down 1, doesn't get to do too much more. The ball is in the hands of Seduce though. It doesn't matter if they go all down. They're straight back to the ball. It's tough going for the team of Divine Minds. There's only 20 points left until Nutribullet are the winners of the first HCS ANZ Open qualifier number 1. There's only 10 seconds remaining. He's still got the ball. Players from Divine Minds are trying to come in. Seduce goes down, but he does throw the ball bottom middle so that his teammates can try get some slays without Divine Minds trying to get the ball.
8 seconds the difference here. All that needs to be done is Nutribullet needs to hold the ball for 8 more seconds until they wrap up this entire tournament and give themselves the trophy. It is absolutely ridiculous what we've seen here. And a huge nade coming out from Barcode. He picks up a double. This is not what Divine Minds needs right now. Divine Minds need to get in a position where they all fall together, but they go 3 down, and there's only 8 seconds left for them to hold the ball.
Yeah, only 8 seconds. This is looking like this will be the end of the tournament. Nutribullet doing their best to stay alive and try to get the time on the board. They don't manage to do it. Barcode goes down. Divine Minds trying to do the best that they can. They are 3 dead though. Pratties grabs it. 3 seconds left on the board. They still don't have it. They grab it again, and they will be the tournament winners. ANZ HCS Open number 1. Nutribullet takes it out.
Fantastic result from Nutribullet here, and I'm sure a lot of people really saw it coming. If you were betting men, I hope you bet on Nutribullet because they absolutely took it away here. Josh, let me ask you a question. How much did you put on Nutribullet today?
Yeah, look, I didn't put anything on because the odds were $1 at the bookies. They were the hot favourites, and for good reason. Obviously, a fantastic finish for the Nutribullet squad. And look, so much to talk about throughout that series. So many highlights. I'm still biting my knuckle over that triple kill from Barcode earlier. A gymnast on the platform there of Bazaar. Now, look, we'll get back to that grapple in a second. We need to talk about that game we just saw. Oddball, 200-73. They ended up walking away with at the end. Bluey, we saw there, Oddball, you don't need to get kills to be a big contributor to your team.
Yeah, Pratties was just a huge objective player then, and it was fantastic for him because we could see that even though he wasn't putting up big numbers, and you can even see his damage number is the lowest on the team, but I think what really matters is him being able to make the right objective holds at the right times and being able to give those good comms. We saw him literally just sitting bottom middle with camo, go uncontested, and just give shoutouts to the rest of his team.
Barcode, we saw there putting out damage on every map we played him on. He was almost 2,000 damage above the rest in that game as well. I'm sure we'll talk about that more soon, but Hoggy, in this oddball, one thing that I saw is just how critical control of camo was in this game.
Yeah, so many times Nutribullet had control of the camo, and they put it to good use almost every time. Even when Praddy's had it, he might not have been getting kills, but he was staying alive. He used it to get his first kill, actually. So the fact that they had control of camo so much did not help the side of Divine Minds.
Yeah, and we saw here they're going to put your favourite weapon to use there as well, Bluey.
Yeah, sheesh.
Love seeing it. This was towards the end of the game as well. It was 92 points and still climbing. But yeah, in the end, of course, it was going to be the guys of Nutribullet to walk away with it. And there's our series overview. Hoggy, I mean, walk us through it. Tailor the tape. It's pretty straightforward, right?
Yeah, they easily won the capture the flag in the end, 3 points to 1. Only 8 kills in it in Bizarre Slayer, but easily coming out the victors in the oddball recharge with all the camos they grabbed. Doesn't matter how many kills Praddy's gets, they can still win.
A fairly convincing result in the end. Bluey 3-1 on that CTF, followed by the 50-42 on Slayer. It all came down to the oddball, and of course, Divine Mind just couldn't cut it in the end, although they put up a valiant effort, right?
Yeah, they still definitely put up a good fight. You could see that overall as a team, they were still very synergized in a lot of their approaches to all the maps in general. They still performed really well, and I don't think they should take it too hard that they lost to a team like Nutribullet, because as we all said in the opening of introducing Nutribullet as a team, Nutribullet has been doing nothing but grinding as a 4. They have such good, strong synergy between all of them. If you're in the position of Divine Mind, all you can do from this point is just look at how Nutribullet played against you and learn from that. And that's hopefully where they're going to go from forward.
I think that series overview really highlights as well how the score doesn't always convey what happened. You know, 3-1 CTF, that 200-70 on in the oddball. For us as viewers, it looked a lot closer, especially back on that CTF on Aquarius. But look, that's my opinion. Let's get the opinion of someone much more educated than me. I hear we're talking to Seduce, so let's get him on and have a chat. Seduce, my friend, first of all, praise to you, praise to you. What a performance. Congratulations on the win. First things first, just tell us how you're feeling. Obviously, you've got a long history in Halo, and you've just clutched the victory in the very first tournament of Halo Infinite here in ANZ.
Yeah, feeling good after that win. It's been a while. It's been a few years since we've had some competition, so it's good to be back. Yeah, we've been grinding ever since the game came out, and yeah, just so happy to be back.
Yeah,
Oh.
you go.
Oh, good. Thank you, Hoggy. Seduce, it's not hard to say that all you boys played absolutely out of your minds for that entire series. But are there any points that you can see maybe from here on that you could improve on as the game goes forward?
Yeah, 100%. Like, it's only early days, so it's a bit of a random tournament. So we worked with like what we could have. Definitely plenty of places for improvement, and it definitely showed today. Still super happy with our performance though. So, but yeah, lots of areas to still improve on.
Yeah, lots of areas to improve on because it's only been 5 days. How have you felt with your team coming from the start of Halo Infinite to now? Do you think that your team working together over the last 5 days is one of the reasons why you guys are the best team and why you guys, in the end, didn't drop a single map in this whole tournament?
Yeah, 100%. Nah, I think we're definitely the best team, not just because of the last 5 days, but because of the last few years. Like, it's like we've been preparing for this moment. Fair. It's not just like the game released and then we grinded. We've been grinding for years now, so now it's good to put that to the test and like put it to good use. And yeah, just super excited that there's lots of tournaments to be able to like keep competing in.
That's actually a fantastic segue, Seduce, because I'd love to get your opinion on something. You know, you've always been a dominant player, and the Halo scene here in Australia, look, it's been through its peaks and troughs, and it's fair to say that it was kind of on life support there for a little while. I feel like surely you must be just waiting for your moment. That moment is here, as a Halo player has stuck it out and has been there throughout Halo 5 and waiting for Halo Infinite. when someone like you sees the roadmap, like, what are your thoughts? Is this the moment you've been waiting for, and is there anything in particular that you're looking forward to in the HCS roadmap that's been presented?
Yeah, 100%. No, like I said before, we're just super excited that we have all these opportunities to compete in. It's not just like matchmaking or scrims anymore. Like, every week we've got something to play for, and it just gets bigger and better as time goes on. Like, there's a few LAN events in North America that we can qualify to. There's LANs in Australia that we'll be able to attend. So it's exciting that 24/7, where it's not just scrimming and practicing, like we're actually going to be able to play for something meaningful.
That's really, really awesome to hear. And I see you seem to have the team mascot beside you, Seduce. Is that correct?
I do. Yep,
You want to tell us the story?
Nutribullet. So it's hard to come up with team names on the spot. And we just went with Nutribullet because like, we put people in the blender, like when you get them on a spawn trap, and that's just like what we refer to.
Yeah.
I was watching Ogre One and
like
Barcode play some Halo 1, and that game is very heavy on like spawn trapping and spawn killing. So like, every time that I was in their call watching them play Halo 1, they'd be like zzz, zzz, and they would just be spawn killing them. So yeah, now we wanted to take that into Halo Infinite for a bit until we like lock ourselves into an org.
You know, that's actually a great response. When I see names like that, usually it's just, I just wanted a silly name, but actually that makes perfect sense. So absolutely love it. Well, look, Seduce, we're really, really stoked for you, mate. I personally am very, very excited for you. You've been a player that we've been keeping an eye on for a few years, and now that we finally have an amazing roadmap ahead of us for Halo Esports, I cannot wait to see what you and the team do. Again, on behalf of all of us, mate, congratulations on the win today.
Thank you, guys. Cheers, Josh.
Thank you very much, Seduce. All right, well, there we go. Ladies and gentlemen, the winners of the HCS Open, number one here for ANZ, it is going to be Nutribullet. Gents, I mean, what a series that was. So many highlights that we've got there. We saw a few of the replays as well. Tell me, Hoggy, I'm going to go to you first. If you could pick one highlight of the series, I think I know what it's going to be, but if you could give me one, what would it be?
It was when Pips picked up the mangot. It was obviously the grapple hook from Barcode. I did not even know that it would traverse you through the terrain, like literally just take you around it so that you could get onto a player, but that was just insane. It didn't even look like he hit him, and when you see him go through the terrain, it just makes you think, oh my god, that's crazy.
And as we pull up the bracket, Bluey, same question for you. Tell me, I mean, I'm going to challenge you. You're going to have to pick another moment that wasn't the grapple. Is there something that stood out, or at least a player that really stood out for you?
It's so tough overall. Look, if there's one shout-out that I actually really want to give, it's unfortunately not a team that we saw a lot of, but it's for KBM. They were an all keyboard and mouse crew coming into the competition, and they did really well, especially when we had players. It was their first tournament of all time. And watching them play was actually such a huge treat, because I feel like so far in the game, we haven't seen that many keyboard and mouse players shine. So for them to finish in a top 8 position is fantastic. And boys, if you're listening, keep playing. I want to see those sick keyboard and mouse snipes come our way.
Yeah, obviously something very cool about the Halo Esports ecosystem for Halo Infinite is there is cross-play in tournament as well, keyboard and mouse and controller. And as you saw there, we just looked through the bracket of today's events and yesterday's competition as well. KBM did get that top 8 finish, so good shout out, Bluey. Well, that's kind of everything right now. An amazing event to kick things off. I'm incredibly excited. And look, I'm going to go back to you, Bluey. Like, what are you expecting ahead of us? Just overall thoughts about the events that are coming up.
It's insane to think about that we are literally only 5 days away from the game coming out and players being able to get their hands on it, and everyone performed in the way they did. I'm so excited to see what the competition looks like from not only 2 weeks from now, a week from now, a month from now. It's just going to get better, and we're just going to see more and more teams come through and develop, and more of these storylines develop. Nutribullet are looking so strong now, but we've seen in the past, especially with Australia and New Zealand, like that competitive Halo scene, we've seen our greats be absolutely dethroned, and I feel like with Infinite being as open as it is, we're going to see that happen again. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but sometime in the future.
But someday. Speaking of what's coming up, we actually have the ANZ HCS Open number 2. Obviously, today was just kicking things off, but number 2, you can register now. The link is on your screen. You can go and check it out. Register the team. We had 37 teams for the ANZ event today, which again, for Australia, that's massive, especially with 5 days notice. Something crazy is about to happen in ANZ. I feel it coming, and I know already there's a lot of teams and players jumping ship from other titles to join the HCS hype train. We are all aboard and steaming ahead. So make sure you go to that link and sign up. It is next weekend. It's going to be absolutely nuts, and I can't wait for it. But guys, that's going to wrap things up for today. This has been the HCS ANZ Open number 1. I hope you have enjoyed it. Halo is back, and I'm absolutely stoked. I cannot wait to see what happens next. I hope you all at home have enjoyed this show. We're going to be wrapping things up. On behalf of the ESL Australia production crew, my co-casters here, Bluey and Hoggy, I'm in Maniac. We'll see you guys next week.